I knew nothing about any of that, Jim. And I spent that entire time feeling inadequate. But if my experience can help someone else, again, the helping aspect, here are some things to ask a doctor. Here's how to deal with an attorney who doesn't trust children because they're trying to get whatever they can get, right? Set aside your resentment about that. How can you help people? And that was the process for me. So you go back to competence, confidence, and risk-taking. I had no competence in any of this, but I knew those three elements. And so I would journal a lot, and I'd say, what did I learn today? How did that help me ask the next question? How did that help me make a decision that I am ill-equipped to make? And so, ironically, all of that business training served me at probably the most personally challenging chapter of my life and helped parents depart the planet. It truly upended my life.
There's also compassion chats, which I know are kind of like what we're having here, which are very important to the work that you do. Tell us about these.
Yeah, we started these a year ago, March 2021. We're in 2022, right? And the idea that hand in hand with I didn't know what to do, even if I knew an agency to call, what would I say? Who would I ask to talk to? What? So I thought, you know what, maybe we can bring in providers, Alzheimer's Association, Aging and Disability Resource, daily money managers, real estate agents, people who stage homes, help people move. We're expanding them this year to include mental health professionals because that's such a huge piece of this. And researchers out of the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. We have this month, actually next week, we'll have one of the researchers on, a physician, talking about what do we know about Alzheimer's and the changes in the brain and the lifestyle activities that help. So the idea there was not only to help people understand that there are resources, but to bring the humans behind the agencies, thinking if we can connect people, a caregiver may be more inclined to pick up a phone and call Tim at the Alzheimer's Association rather than call the agency and not know who you're talking to. They've been very, very well received, and I'm hoping, frankly, that we can grow those beyond our little homely audience that we have now.
What do you see as the future of some of the things you want to do going forward?
I would like to have it more organized and obviously marketed. I think that compassion chats is an idea that we can all use, right? Not only in caregiver roles, but basically through life. But sticking with Alzheimer's and dementia, we're all dealing with it. And that population is going to do nothing but grow. I expect I will be one of them, right, at some point. So to help people understand, it's kind of like we talked before we started to shoot. Alzheimer's and dementia is like the C word when we were growing up. Nobody talked about cancer. The more fearful we are of this disease, the less we'll learn about it. Marty Schreiber, who wrote My Two Elaines, he and his wife Elaine were Alzheimer's advocates for years and years and years. She just passed several weeks, maybe a month ago by now, but he absolutely champions. And Marty always says, the disease is terrible. What's even more terrible is not knowing about it, not being ignorant about it. Learn, learn, learn. So if I can help that effort perhaps in a different way, and bring people together. You know, you and I do this. It's how do we knit people back together after 2+ years of being so isolated and separated and scared.
Why do you love this work so much? What does it bring you, that blessing and joy in your life?
I think perhaps because I had a grandmother who listened to me when I was a dumb teenager who knew nothing, and how it impacted me in terms of teaching me to listen rather than demand answers, in terms of thinking about what's possible and making a choice rather than being steered by the winds of time or whatever it is. That stayed with me my entire life. If I can be grandma in that regard to somebody else, well, what's better?